channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my TBR for Clear Your Shit, or just generally my TBR for June. However, it is based around the prompts for Clear Your Shit, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you don't know what Clear Your Shit is, I have many a video talking about it. It is the Readathon that I created and co-run with Art, who's Ink and Plasma. Several other booktubers participate in it. You may have heard of it and then not realized that I am the brains behind the operation. If you haven't realized that yet, that's incredible. I love that for you. I wish that I could forget sometimes because it's a lot of work, but I love doing it. So anyway. Let's go ahead and talk about my June TBR. As of 2 weeks ago, I posted the announcement video for Clear Your Shit, so the prompts would have been posted there. You can go watch that video if you want a little bit more context for the prompts themselves, but here is the list of books that I've chosen for those prompts. First up, we have a book that you got because of other media, and I will be reading Three Body Problem by, I'm not going to say this correctly, Liu, L-I-U-C-I-X-I-N. I looked it up, I listened to people say it, I can't. We've talked about this, I really struggle with pronouncing names a lot of the time. So, anyway. This is, I picked this book for this prompt because I watched the Three Body Problem on Netflix and I thought it was really interesting, so I am going to be starting that series. Set against the backdrop of China's Cultural Revolution, a secret military project sends signals into space to establish contact with aliens. An alien civilization on the brink of destruction captures the signal and plans to invade Earth. Meanwhile on Earth, different camps start forming, planning to either welcome the superior beings and help them take over a world seen as corrupt, or to fight against the invasion. Seems interesting. Next up, we have Head Like a Hole by Andrew Van Wey, which I will be reading for the prompt, a book that is your favorite genre. It's the mid-90s, and in a fog-drenched cove at the edge of New England, something terrible awakens when a fisherman reels in a gruesome catch, the remains of a young woman. Remains still pulsing with furious life. For Megan Monroe and her friends, this is how their nightmare begins. A wet whisper over their shoulder, a dark hand reaching out from over the edge of their sight, and a name clawing at the back of their minds. A young woman scratched from their memory. To stop this devouring terror, Megan will need to mend broken friendships and reassemble her fractured past, for what stalks them hungers to remake itself in their image, piece by bloody piece. Seems stressful, seems scary. So if you don't know, my favorite genre is horror, so that is why I chose a horror book here, while my stats will often tell you that I read more fantasy than I do horror, and that is true. It's because I'm pickier about horror, so I won't just read trash. I will just read trash, actually, that's a lie, but anyway, it is still my favorite genre. Next up, for a book with a white or sparkly cover, and this will also fill in my read a nonfiction book goal that I have for every month. Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. With Mother Hunger, McDaniel helps women break the cycle of destructive behavior by taking a fresh look at childhood trauma and its lasting impact. In doing so, she destigmatizes the shame that comes with being undermothered and misdiagnosed. McDaniel offers a healing path with powerful tools that include therapeutic interventions and lifestyle changes in service to healthy relationships. McDaniel is the first clinician to identify Mother Hunger, which demystifies the search for love and provides the compass that each woman needs to end the struggle with achy, lonely emptiness and come home to herself. Now, I have to disclaim, obviously I have a relationship with my mother and I are close, but that was not always the case. So if you see me reading books about mother-daughter relationships or about parenthood and toxic parent relationships, it is not necessarily a reflection of my own personal experiences. So I just want to give that disclaimer. I think they're interesting, I think those topics are interesting, and I think having some of that information could also be helpful for other people in my life who do have toxic relationships with their families and are aware of it. I'm not just gonna pop in and be anyway. For a book with drama, I will be reading The Feastmakers by A.J. Clark, or August Clark. This was something I was supposed to be reading last year, and I had it as an advanced reader copy, and I didn't finish it, so I will be finishing it. After restoring their powers, Sideways just wants to get on with senior year, but the covens have convened for the trial of Madeline Klein. Now, in like the first 2 books or so, they're being hunted by witch hunters. Madeline Klein steals power. It's a whole thing. This is the 3rd book in a series, so I'm not going to get too into like what happens in the 3rd, like what is set up to happen in the 3rd book. Because it is the 3rd book in a series, it is the final book in a series, and I don't want to spoil the series for you because I really do love the Scape Racers books. I just wasn't in the right place to read it last year, so we're reading it this year for Clear Your Shit. Next up, we have a book you have low expectations for, because I love to torment my readers, but I also had books on my TBR that I hadn't read because I just expected to be disappointed and I just didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, so here we are. This was actually down to 2 books for me, and so I picked just the one. But if I end up DNFing this one or something, then I have another book to fill in this prompt. I will be reading The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, if you don't know, I fucking love the Hawthorne, the Inheritance Games books. I love those books. I think they are incredible books. I think they are so much fun. In fact, I did a whole video over it, which you can go see, where I deep dive into all of the things. I was rereading. I had like a murder wall where you connect the dots and do the things. And it was a very exciting time for me. I love these books. So why is there another one? There doesn't need to be another one. Why is there another one, you know? This book is about the boys specifically. And I just don't know that I care about them. Like, this feels like when, where is it? Truly Devious got a 4th and 5th book, I think? And it was good as a trilogy. We didn't need more. And then by the time, I think the 4th or whichever the last one was that came out, it was horrible. It was a horrible fucking book. Like, it was very, very fucking clear that it was written for money. So I'm very worried that this is the same thing, because we don't need to solve any more mysteries. I love these characters, don't get me wrong, I do. But I don't need more from these characters. Like, a great example of doing this in the correct way, in an appealing way, would be Maggie Stiefvater's, what is it called? The Raven Boys. That's the series I'm talking about. The Raven Boys, they are some of my favorite young adult books, I'm not gonna lie. They're very good, but then she wanted to continue to write about those characters, but she didn't want to continue to write that story, and so she had some characters that needed a little bit more fleshing out, and so she wrote basically a separate series that I've only read the first 2 for, but they're really good because they focus on the lives outside of the main plot of the first story. Like, yes, you should have read the first trilogy if you're going to read this like spin-off trilogy, but it still is really good and stands on its own 2 feet pretty well. Cassandra Clare does a really good job with this too. If you don't know, I am a big fan of the Shadowhunter series, not including the Mortal Instruments. I fucking hate those books. Those books are horrible. Why are there 7 of them? They're terrible. It's like my guilty pleasure books. I really enjoy them. She writes these other characters interwoven. These stories are all interwoven, but you can read any of the series on their own. A lot of fantasy authors do this, but it seems like thriller authors don't know how to do this, or I don't know. They're just like, let's just continue the story even though it ended. Bessie, you could just write a new story and have some of the same characters. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. Anyway, I have super low expectations, in case you couldn't tell. So here we are. Moving on. A book with a map. I will be reading The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. Amina al-Sarafi should be content. After a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, she survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse: retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have one last adventure with her crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever? It seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the more it becomes alarmingly clear that there's more to this job and the girl's disappearance than she was led to believe. It just seems fun. Now, I don't know how much I care about pirate stories. I have learned that I don't super care about pirate stories, but this just seems fun in general. You guys should know by now that I love a hero or villain, whatever, that's like retired and then comes back out to do work. I do enjoy those a lot. I think they are a lot of fun. I think those stories are a lot of fun. They've got, you know, PTSD and all of that. I as much as I love like a young adult hero, chosen hero, this is them learning to battle and do the things or whatever. I actually don't love those parts of the stories. I actually can't stand those parts of the stories, but I do love when they already know that shit. We're moving on. We're doing the real adventure, right? Like, those stories are fun for me. Editing Andy here. Hi. I forgot to mention the free space book that I will be reading, which is If You Could See the Sun by Anne Liang. Because I forgot about it, I feel like a jerk, so I'm including it here and I'm making sure that you guys see it, is free space. That is very exciting. It is about Alice Sun going to a Beijing International Boarding School where she's the only scholarship student among China's most rich and influential teens, but then she starts uncontrollably turning, like, actually legitimately invisible. And then she starts committing crimes so that she can continue to afford to go to the school. So yeah. Thanks. Next up, we have a book that someone recommended, and this book I am 99% sure was recommended to me by Landis. I don't have proof of that. I could have looked it up on Discord to confirm, but we used to do so many Discord calls for hours. I don't know, but I'm like, based on the way that this book is described, this feels like a Landis recommendation. Landis, if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, bestie. I'll be reading The Outside by Ada Hoffman. Did I mention that? Did I mention the title? I don't know. I'll be reading The Outside by Ada Hoffman. Autistic scientist Yasira Sheen has developed a radical new energy drive that could change the future of humanity. But when she activates it, reality warps, destroying the space station and everyone abroad. The AI gods who rule the galaxy declare her work heretical, and Yasira is abducted by their agents. Instead of simply executing her, they offer mercy, if she'll help them hunt down a bigger target, her mysterious vanished mentor. With her homeworld fate in a balance, Yasira must choose who to trust, the gods and their ruthless post-human angels, or the rebel scientists whose unorthodox mathematics could turn her world inside out. Yeah, this just feels like a Landis rec. And if it's not, maybe Landis needs to read it. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and then the last book that I have on this list is Magic for Nothing by Shauna McGuire, which I will be reading for a Read a Book that is a part of a series. It is the 6th or 7th or 19th millionth of the Encrypted series that I have been reading for a few months now. Last year it was the October Day series. This year it's the Encrypted series, you know, except last year I learned my lesson and I'm taking my time reading them. So I'm really just reading like one a month, which means that I think it's going to be the 6th book because it'll be in June. So it should line up. And if it doesn't, then I might read 2 books so that it starts to line up because that's kind of fun for me. Yeah. That's the TBR. I have some plans for some things to fill if I end up, because it's a very short TBR, if I end up not getting all of these read. However, I have friends coming the first week and a half-ish of June, and so I might be preoccupied. So I may not get as much reading as I normally would done. So I went ahead and was like, let's do a smaller TBR. It's not like a ton smaller than my usual shtick, but it's only 9 books, so less than 10. That's pretty short for me, so that I could have some wiggle room, just in case. I think next month I will be planning a 24-hour reads situation, but I haven't decided what I want to do yet, so I'm thinking either an American Girl one, or I want to maybe do a reread of some kind, but I haven't decided what. Like, maybe I do Shauna McGuire's Alchemical Journeys and get the 3rd one. I think it'll be out by July, so, and spend 24 hours reading that, because I used to do that with the Cassandra Clare books. So maybe I'll do that, or some of the American Girl books. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below which one you would be more interested in watching. Because I want to do a better job at filming those anyway. Like, I want to do a better job at filming those anyway. I think I have ideas. Anyway, that's it though. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you were going to read any of these books, if you were participating in CLEARURSHT, any of the things, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear about it. If you need... No, I'm not going to say let me give you recommendations because I'm terrible at that, but you're welcome to ask in the comments and see if somebody else is going to reply to you and give you recommendations. Can't be me, I'm bad at it. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I think I said that already, and I am so sorry to editing me if I did. That's it. If you didn't enjoy this video and it's something I can change and it's not just like me, let me know how I can make this video better for you. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month. And then I just post vlogs. So I will see you guys later on Thursday. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.